At Red Barn, our pet food ingredients work overtime. They aren't just there for show. Dandelion greens work to maintain a healthy digestive system. Salmon oil works to enhance the immune system. Green-lipped mussels work to support joint health. These hard-working ingredients support your dog's active, healthy life. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Visit redbarninc.com/coupon to save $1 off your first can.
Blog Talk Radio. Listening to Urban Mystik Radio. This is 7. It's May 20th, 11:32 p.m. I am live from Newcastle, Delaware. 60 degrees outside where I'm at right now. So tonight, it was going to be about sigils. I had an episode before. It was one of my blogs. Briefly talked on it, but I have a guest on tonight. We're going to get a little bit deeper into sigil work. So his name is Marcus Reeves. He's 25 years old, and he's a Marine Corps veteran. He's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. And as the description says, he claims to be probably one of the more unique magicians that we'll come to know. So although he practices magic, his main background is in psychology. He's been studying the occult since he was a teen. He's always had an interest in what goes bump in the night, and since growing up watching anime, he also has become interested in the history behind the mythologies influencing certain characters, which in turn led him back into the occult. So his areas of expertise, what we call perception magic, egregores, and sigils. Okay, so we'll discussing all of this, and I'm getting ready to get him on now. Marcus?
What's going on?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, so how's it going?
Oh, I'm pretty good. How you doing? Well, how y'all doing?
Good. Hubby's not on yet. I'm waiting for him to get on. I don't know if he's going to listen in, but it's just me right now.
All right.
So this show probably won't have any callers in. I usually do pre-record it and then archive it and put it out and people can listen to it later. I feel like it's better that way sometimes, especially when we're talking about certain topics, so, it's not interrupted or anything. So we'll just get right in. You got a lot of information and want to go ahead and get it out there.
All right. Well, before I get into the sigil work and the egregores, I want to set down a couple of key concepts that I constantly bring up, so that later on, when I go back to these concepts, it will be easier to understand why I'm talking about said concepts.
Okay.
If I disconnect, do I just call back this number?
Yes, just call in. It's okay. I have hang up sometimes, so believe me, don't even worry about it.
All right. Cool. All right. First and foremost, before we start talking about sigils and egregore, things of that nature, we got to start talking about perception and context. Now, from my own personal experience doing sigils, perception and context is probably one of the most important elements, especially with sigil craft, because let's be honest, your eyes are what you're going to use to charge the sigil. I mean, unless you want to do it by hand, in most cases you're going to be staring into the sigil. But like I'm saying, perception and context. Now, I'm gonna give an example, and then I'll try to relate as much to that example. Now, let's say, for example, you had let's say, for example, you had the Christian cross. Now, it has a certain context in it within our society. It already has a certain amount of established correspondences with it. Now, regardless of whether or not you identify with those correspondences, whatever symbol, in this case the cross, that you're being given, or the symbol that you're perceiving, it has a certain context to it. Now, once you take that context, and you well, if you're the one giving it said context, like i.e. the church, you're able to change everybody's perception to fit said context, because you have the context, and then that context is being defined really by perception. Now, that perception.
If I could bump in for a second, kind of like the swastika, right? Because it meant something else to the Native Americans, to ancient civilization, and Hitler just completely took it and programmed it to mean completely something else. Like, that's what you're talking about?
Exactly, precisely. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
With that, though, with an image, if you're able to change the perception of an image, you can change people's minds. Going to what you were saying with the swastika. The swastika had all kinds of meanings prior to Hitler using it, but during World War II, it had this specific context. It meant Nazis, period. Whatever it meant prior to that doesn't really matter, because at that time, people perceived the swastika in a negative context. You understand?
Right.
So, taking that, let's go into sigil craft now. With any sigil, it has to have a certain kind of context to it. Let's say, for example, I have a sigil, right? Like the sigil that I sent you during the email, that I put into the context of attraction. I want, whenever I think of attraction, whenever I think of stuff being put towards me, I think of that sigil. Because that sigil to me has this certain meaning to it, just like with any other symbol. Now, in order for me now to, let's say, for example, I use that same sigil for a hyper sigil. In order for me to change everybody's context of what that symbol means, I have to change everybody's perception first. Now, when it comes to just basic sigils and what we call hyper sigils or whatnot, it's a matter of how fast you're changing the context via perception. Let's say, for example, you have now a sigil that you want for wealth. All right, you already know the context means wealth, but the way you perceive it and then charge it is basically going to define whether or not that sigil is going to be a hyper sigil or just a regular sigil.
What do you mean by hyper sigil for people that are not familiar with that?
Hyper sigil. A hyper sigil basically can be anything, but for the sake of right now, I'll try to explain it this way. A hyper sigil is basically you're trying to get reality to fit your paradigm. Because once something fits your paradigm, you can change the perception of it and then therefore change the context. Let's say, for example, Okay, I'll start using stuff within our real world. That way, our listeners can, well, your listeners rather, they can relate. The McDonald's jingle, ba da ba ba ba.
Right.
I'm loving it. That itself is a hypersigil because, first off, McDonald's already has this context behind it. It's already a fast food chain. But in order for people to change the perception of McDonald's from fast food chain with greasy food to somebody want to eat, they have to influence you. Now, with sigils, sigils, symbols, anything that has to do with a symbolic nature, they have to implant that into your subconscious. Remember, a hyper sigil is trying to basically align reality to fit whatever you want it to. Taking that jingle now, they took that jingle, turned it to a sigil, embedded that into everybody's subconscious. So now when you hear ba da ba ba ba, you're automatically going to associate that jingle, that feeling, that moment with McDonald's. At that moment now, McDonald's has hypnotized, well, it's not really hypnotizing, but McDonald's essentially changed the entire perception of their company by just one sigil alone.
Right.
You still follow me?
Right.
Now, with any hyper sigil, well, basically, like I said before, there's two kinds of sigils, really. There's one for speed, and there's one for power, or more like, I guess you could say like a scatter bomb kind of thing, where you're trying to manipulate more as opposed to a simple moment. Normally, when we launch sigils, I call it a glitch in the matrix to set out this intent to therefore cause some kind of weakening in, I guess you can call it space-time, the mystery source, whatever you want to call it. You're trying to cause that glitch so whatever that you want manifest can manifest. I could launch a sigil right now for $500, but if I myself don't have $500, I basically got to manipulate the things that are around me in some way, shape, or form, via spell, sigil, whatnot, in order for that $5 to materialize. Now, like I said, you can do this really in just two ways. You can do it by speed, or you can do it for power. When you're doing it for speed, essentially you're trying to bring down as much energy into that sigil as fast and as highly charged as possible, because you just want a small window for whatever you're trying to manifest to drop down to you.
Right. Sometimes I refer to things like that as like breaking the loop. I don't know if you kind of understand what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there's like a loop, like a time loop or something, and I feel like you're trying to like break into that, or you get what? Okay. That's how I kind of relate stuff like that. And when I'm doing magic and spell work, I feel like I'm trying to crack into a certain loop or something like that.
Actually, I'm glad that you said that, because that's going to come into another point that I was going to bring up later about knowing the fundamentals of your universe. Because if you know the fundamentals of our universe, knowing the fundamentals of our universe, we call it the Kabbalion or the Hermetic laws or whatever you are. The Kabbalah is the literature, but the Hermetic laws, like the rules that govern our universe. Like, if you know how everything operates, you can then change it, because you know the law of knowledge. You can then change it. So, like how you said before, you're breaking the loop. If you're launching a sigil, everything is already going on the way it is. But once you launch that sigil, you're breaking the loop. You're causing some kind of a sudden moment of disorganization where, as magicians or whatever, we call it magic. But let's say, for example, in another faith, they might call it a miracle. Or in another faith, they might call it just an act of God by itself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, that's the sigils. Now you got the other sigils, which is the hyper sigils, and I'm trying not to talk real fast because it's a lot of information, and I don't want to.
No, that's fine, because like we talked about, this can go into several different episodes. The level of the information, and because I wanna go back as far as perception, and so. In your practice and with your work, like how do you go about changing perception? Because you said that you gotta align that people's perception for sigil work to work. So what would you do to accomplish that?
All right. I'll give you the sigil that I'm activating, or rather using right now for this interview. All right. My name is Marcus Terrell Reeves. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I myself